Hey, what's up, YouTube? Red and Bordy here, back with another New World video. Today, we're going to break down the top 3 PvP weapons from New World Beta. Now that it's over, I think we all have a pretty good grasp of the strongest weapons in New World when you're looking to, do some PvP, Bordy. So let's hop right in here with number 3, and that is the Ice Gauntlet. Now, Bordy, I played a lot with the Ice Gauntlet in the beta. I had a lot of opportunities to play around. I know you did early on as well. Tell us a little about the Ice Gauntlet and why it's number 3 on our list.
Man, because the CC is so incredibly strong with the Ice Gauntlet. It's pretty versatile, and you can use it in the open world. Plus, in sieges, you can lay down a lot of CC on the points, so you can kind of control those. You can push people off the points. And then in the open world, man, the Ice Shower is incredibly strong, dude. With the frostbite that roots for 1 second, and then it blocks the sprinting and the dodging, and then it slows speed by 50%, and it remains on your target for 3 seconds after exiting the Ice Shower. Ice Shower is super strong, and then as you spec down, it gets stronger. Then you have the big AoE Ice Storm that is very, very good in PvP as well. So I think both of those alone make this Ice Gauntlet really, really strong for PvP.
Yes, and one of the things that that's kind of underrated about the Ice Gauntlet, I think, is the ability to freeze people with your heavy attack inside of your Ice Storm and your Ice Shower. It's such a powerful, because you're constantly doing, damage over time in those AoE abilities. And then, when you talk about being able to CC a guy or root a guy in place every time you land a heavy within those areas, it starts to stack up, pretty significantly. Controlling your opponent is very powerful in PvP. We all know that. And, to that extent where you basically have unlimited CC as long as they're within one of your AoEs, very powerful. This, to me, was one of the best counters to Great Axe in the game, which was a very prevalent weapon. And again, if I like to throw like a rapier on my back bar, and with that sort of kiting maneuver and the cooldowns on the ice staff, I feel like you can't go wrong, man. A very powerful weapon. And, I think if it all remains the same, I think it'll be a very popular choice in open world PvP.
Yeah, I think so, man. Also, with the Ice Shower, you get a really good rend at the end if you spec all the way down into Ice Shower, and then you also get the increased movement speed for not only yourself but your allies whenever you throw that down. It just allows you to kite people around really, really good in the open world, and I agree, it is a pretty good counter. Was a pretty good counter during the beta to the Great Axe, which was incredibly strong during the beta. What would be the third ability you would run on the Ice Gauntlet? We talked about Ice Storm, Ice Shower. What's the third one?
So to me, the third one is Entombed. It's just so good in multiple situations. Having that mana regen, the ability to just go immediately up to full mana in a state that you're relatively protected from your opponent. You get empowered, or excuse me, you get not empowered, but you get the increased defense, fortified for 25% for 3 seconds, which is really powerful after getting out of that. You also get a cleanse. So if you do have some some sort of debuff on you from your opponent, you immediately drop that as soon as you enter Entombed. And one of the things I like to do, Bordy, is if I knew someone was, using the Great Axe or the Hatchet or something, and they're going to pop their abilities that are powerful, like Berserk, or, someone trying to, gravity well me, and then, use that big heavy attack, you just pop Attuned immediately, waste their cooldowns, and then you can come out with a stun. Another very powerful thing about Entombed, you pop out with your left click, you stun your opponent, and then you go right back to kiting, man, and they're 1 cooldown less. So, Entombed to me is the third ability there on the Ice Gauntlet.
Yeah, I would agree. I've seen a lot of people running ice spikes there as well, and I think that might be good for certain situations, but I think Entombed is overall the better choice for PvP.
Yeah, I think to me, ice spikes is more potentially of like a PvE ability. Obviously, Entombed isn't as useful if you have a healer that's helping you regen your mana. Or you're not taking any direct damage, so you don't really have to worry about protecting yourself. But yeah. So, I could definitely see ice spikes in a PvE setting for sure.
Yep.
All right, Bordy. Well, let's move on to number 2 on our list. And this is a favorite weapon of both your and mine, and that is the Hatchet. Now, the Hatchet, dude, to me, it just continues to be polarizing in open world PvP. And one of the reasons is Berserk, man. It's just a crazy strong cooldown, dude. Bordy, tell us a little bit about why the Hatchet is number 2 on the list.
I mean, the damage output. The damage output of the Hatchet is insane. It's so fast. It's so hard to get away from. It's a very in-your-face play style, which is what I really like about it. Plus, you have that self-heal. You have the haste. Whenever you pop Berserk, you can cleanse your remove all crowd control whenever you pop your Berserk. And you also, the self-heal is really strong, I think, whenever you use the Berserk. And then you also, your attacks are uninterruptible whenever you pop your Berserk. All of those things coupled together just make it so strong, man. And it has been. And it was very strong in the preview because of the stagger. Now it's strong for different reasons now in the beta. So I don't know if we'll see nerfs to these, man. I would assume that potentially these weapons we're talking about may get nerfed before launch. But as of the beta, these were, in our opinion, the strongest.
I think Berserk is a very strong candidate for some attention. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think so. So, I mean, Berserk is really, that's really it. But then once you couple it with some of the other abilities within the Hatchet tree, it gets really crazy. What other ability would you run other than Berserk?
Well, this is a passive, but I think it's really important for the versatility of the Hatchet is aimed throw. You're not going to typically block with your Hatchet very much at all. And having that opportunity to use a ranged attack on a weapon that is primarily melee based, the versatility there alone is very, very powerful. I do like that passive. My other abilities that I was using was Feral Rush. It allows you to close the gap, and you do get the the increased damage in execution range, which is under 30%. And you do immobilize them. So if you can use, again, immobilize them and then pop out with your aim throw and do some damage. I know you like to use one of the throwing tree abilities, Bordy. So let's tell us a little bit about that.
I do. Yeah, I really do. I like them in PvP a lot, especially in open world PvP. I was running Berserk. I was also running Feral Rush. I think that's a must have on your PvP build. And then I also toyed around with Rending Throw. And then I switched that out for Infected Throw a little bit later on. But both of those I feel like are really good options. Rending Throw just allows you to do much more damage. So if you're just trying to just be in your face, do a ton of DPS to your opponent, just use Rending Throw, man. It's pretty crazy. And it enhances your damage by quite a lot. But I also like Infected Throw because of the disease and the weaken.
Yeah.
So disease is going to reduce their healing efficiency by 30%, which is really good because the life staff during the beta was very strong. People were using that as their back bar. They were just healing up, and healing got buffed a lot for the beta. So it was just, the heals were really, really strong. So having that disease I found to be very effective. And then the weaken, it just reduced their damage. So that was really strong too. So you get a double debuff with Infected Throw. So I ended up switching to that, and I liked it a lot better. And I think Rending Throw would probably be a little bit better in PvE than PvP. So I really liked using Infected Throw. I ran Berserk, Feral Rush, Infected Throw, and it was a very, very good combination for me in open world PvP.
Yeah, I think you can't go wrong with Rending Throw or Infected Throw on your bar. For sure. But overall, again, the Hatchet was such a strong, weapon. The attack speed, the chain of attacks, having a 4-chain attack, just all that coupled with the really good cooldowns and passives in the Hatchet tree, definitely make this one of the best weapons in PvP right now. All right, so I think the moment you guys have all been waiting for, and maybe you already know our answer because you haven't heard the weapon yet. But the number 1 PvP weapon in New World was the Great Axe, Bordy. And that's, for multiple reasons, one of which, it had a bugged charged attack, or what appeared to be a bug with the charged heavy attack that allowed you to hit twice. Maybe that isn't a bug. Maybe it's intended or working as intended. But nonetheless, with that in mind, dude, the Great Axe was far exceeded, I think, anybody's expectation, and was the number 1 weapon in open world PvP. Tell us a little bit about the Great Axe.
Yeah, I think even if you take away the double hit, the Great Axe would have still been incredibly strong. There's just a lot of versatility in the Great Axe. It does a ton of damage as well. So what I was running with it in PvP, I was running Reap. Reap is very strong. It just pulls people closer to you. It does a little bit of damage, and it has a self-heal. And then whenever you spec all the way down, you get a spin attack that does weapon damage after you pull them in. Very strong. The charge, the mobility on the charge is incredible. Just the mobility alone makes that worth it. You can get yourself out of situations or close the gap against people, which is really, really good. And then the thing that everyone was running that is so strong is Gravity Well. Gravity Well for the Great Axe was incredible. It is just an incredible CC ability. It pulls people in. It will pull groups of people in, and then it just has burst damage at the end, so you can get some really good burst damage if you pull them in, and then even execute or something like that, or pull them in and then use your heavy attacks while you try to time that with the burst damage or whatever. There's so many things you can do with Gravity Well. And then you have increased burst damage as you spec down in there, and then your allies gain 20% fortify while standing in your well. So it just makes it an incredibly strong weapon overall. And then those are the three I ran. I did not take execute because I was a hatchet boy too, you know, so I had a lot of damage already, so I didn't really need execute too much. But execute again is just, it does a ton of damage, so you could have slotted that on your bar too, and I think you'd have been just fine. Replaced one of the other ones except Gravity Well. I wouldn't replace Gravity Well.
You know, dude, just I think the kit as a whole is so strong in so many different aspects. It just, you know, all those different things kind of add up to make, you know, the weapon or the Great Axe the most powerful weapon right now. The self-healing that you get from, like you mentioned, Reap. You also get the passive feed that basically says anytime you deal damage to a target with underneath 30% health, you get 10% of damage done. That's pretty insane, dude. And that's off all abilities, you know, in the tree. Tons of crit support to help you, you know, increase your crit chance. You get mobility. Bloodlust is just an insanely powerful key passive in that tree, allowing you to basically track down anybody that's trying to run from you. You know, 30% movement speed and 15% more damage. All you have to do is like look at your opponent and you get those things. It's pretty nuts, dude. Bloodlust by far is one of those abilities that just make this entire kit, like, you know, again, top tier, like S tier as far as PvP weapons go.
Yeah, all the passives in the Reaper tree are pretty good, man. It's a pretty incredible weapon. I would expect this to get some attention before launch. I don't think it's going to come out of the gate being the #1 weapon in launch. That's my prediction. But as of now, as of the beta, and as we wrapped up beta, this was by far the #1 slotted weapon, man. It was incredible.
Yes, for sure. If we had to pick a runner-up, I think we both probably agree on the Warhammer. Just the utility of the stuns and everything like that is very powerful. I know a lot of people in Sieges particularly were running Great Axe Warhammer and just doing, you know, tons of CC, tons of damage. Just, you know, a very powerful weapon, Warhammer. I would say it's not, you know, probably runner up. And if the top ones get hit with nerfs, man, who knows? The Warhammer could easily move up here in the top 3 weapons in PvP.
Maybe so. I was a little bit disappointed in the spear during the beta, man. It didn't perform that well. It was one of the least used weapons. I don't think a lot of people found a lot of success with it during PvP. So hopefully that maybe we'll get a little bit of love. And I do expect some of the nerfs to come into some of those 3 that we talked about, though.
Yep, for sure. For sure. We'll have to keep our eyes open on patch notes leading up to launch. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. We enjoy doing these type of videos. We hope you enjoy them too. Special thanks to our Patreon. That list continues to grow. The support that we've gotten, again, through the beta is unreal over here at Studio Loot and New World fans and obviously our podcast, New World to Go. You guys are amazing. We're so grateful for you. And we look forward to doing more videos in the future about PvP. It's one of our passions. So thanks again for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next video.